is Dr. Erica from Rosie Research, and we are back to do the second part of our optics lab for the Asteroid of Doom. So the first part we looked at some of our lenses and we found out that they bent light in different ways. And we were able to hopefully defeat the Asteroid of Doom, except for the fact that the laser was so powerful for the asteroid that it melted our optics. And so the scientists gave Rosie a call and they said, we need to use something that has water in it, and we're going to use gelatin as our self-cooling. So over here I've actually made some very thick gelatin, and there's a video about me making this and how you make it with our special recipe. And I've got some cookie cutters that I'm going to need, and I've got some hot water that I'm also going to use for this. And the hot water is basically so I can get a nice clean edge on my cookie cutters with the gelatin. And so here you've got some examples of lenses that you could cut. And what I would do with your kids is have them sort of look at the two circles and sort of bring them together and ask them at what point do they see some of these lenses that they can make. So this is kind of a fun little geometry problem. And you can kind of see that I can maybe make one of these lenses by overlapping them and cutting this part. But I could also use sort of the negative space between the two lenses to make a different type of a lens. So they can choose whatever type of a lens they would like to use, and they're going to play with them. I'm going to, for the second part, you actually need an eye. So I'm going to first cut an eye out, and so you just sort of gently go down in through your jello and bring it up. So that's going to be my eye for later. And now I can choose any of the lenses that I want. And if I turn the page, I have space to record what I find. And so depending on what sort of lens your kids want to make, they'll find different things. I'm going to make, I'm going to make one that's called a meniscus lens. So it's going to use sort of two of these guys, and I'm going to maybe off-center it just to see what that does if it's off-centered. Nothing here needs to be perfect by any means. So let's see, let's off-center it. And so now I have sort of this moon-shaped lens that's in here. So here's a shape that, this sort of looks like my semicircle that I used last time. Maybe I'll do that for my second part. And let's see if I can get this lens out of here nicely. And this comes up pretty nicely and it holds together fairly well as long as we make our jello extra thick. Here is this lens right here. So you guys can look down in the sort of little picture-in-picture video to see. So I'll get it arranged right here, and then I'm going to put my eye down for the next activity. So I'm kind of all ready. So let's take a look and see what we shall see. So if I hold my laser here, it's very bright out right now, so it's a little difficult to see. But what I can do is I can kind of use my pencil and try to trace out, as long as my laser is hitting this pencil, then I know that I'm kind of going in the right direction. So it doesn't look like this lens is focusing it really well. Let's see. Yeah. So it focused it more up here on the top part of this lens and a little bit less down here. I can look at this lens and see what it's doing for me. Normally I can get a little bit of a better lens on there. There we go. I'm going to use my shadow to see it better. So this one did it a little bit better. It's a little easier. It's hard to see sort of when it's so bright right now. But yeah, so this one sort of worked well. This one didn't do as much as I thought it would, but that's okay. Sometimes we find these things out. And so then after they sort of have fun cutting their jello and playing with their jello, we can make our eyeballs and we can look at sort of what's going on here in our eyeballs. And actually, if you look really closely, you can kind of see it coming through. Here I can see it sort of going up this way and through and back here. Unfortunately, I'm not able to see this super well right now, but we would do the same sort of an idea where we're going to put the jello in front of the eye and see how it goes. In fact, I'm going to pause and I'm going to go see if I can find a stronger laser for us, because these ones don't seem to be doing it so well. Okay, I'm back. So I got a little bit of a brighter laser for us. It's just so bright outside right now that the little dollar store lasers aren't going to be enough for us at the moment. So we're going to see what we can do with this one. So let's take a look inside of our eyeball, and I can see it coming through here and hitting over here. I can see it coming through, and so it's kind of coming out here, there. This is actually focusing fairly well on the back of this eye. A little bit can be done. And so that would tell me that I need sort of a weak pair of glasses, because it's actually focusing pretty close to the back of the eye, which is where we want it to focus in the end. Now if I think about what I want to do, I want to bring that focal point in, right? Because it's outside of my eye currently, so I want to bring it in. And to bring it in, I'm going to need, as we learned last time, a lens that's sort of bubbling out. So we can actually see if this one will work. Now you might not actually make a lens that focuses perfectly on that star, and that's because you're cutting your own lenses and you're going to have different focal lengths for those lenses. But you can still kind of get a feel about how do these glasses work, and you can combine it with what you learned last time to try to figure out what sort of glasses you should make. So if I come over in here, let's get our glasses really close to our eyeball. Let's see. This, I think, actually does too much. It's actually, as I'm looking through the jello, it's coming in, it's focusing inside of my eye. So I have it kind of coming up through here, right there. And it's kind of coming up here. It's coming here and in through there. So it's actually focusing inside of my eye. And we can see that a little bit more clearly if we were to sort of ignore the eye and trace these little pieces that we were able to get between them. And I trace these guys through here. You'll notice that everything I'm tracing is now inside of my eye. And so that would mean that it's really too curved of a lens. So I would need something much more flat if I wanted to do something like that. And you could try recutting your lenses and trying something different. Maybe if we wanted to cut a slightly different shape, maybe we want to cut sort of a piece out of it, out of each side, and make it a diverging lens. But remember, we learned before that the diverging lenses, they will push that focal length out, because this is bringing it together, and then we're going to also spread them out, so it's going to make it go further out towards us. And once you've sort of played with your lenses and had a little fun, you can go on to the next page, which also has some more really fun puzzles for you. So you can do those here. And this piece right here is what's the right color. So if Rosie was to make sort of this gelatin, what color of gelatin should we be making? And this is a great question, because what if our researchers need to use a blue laser to be able to hit the asteroid, or what if they need to use a green laser? So it's sort of testing out what's going on. And the way that you look at it is, if I have a red laser, I can go into red jello and you can see it coming through my red jello. And actually you can see it hitting my finger right there. Well, that means that the red jello is not absorbing the red, it's having the red go through. If I take a green laser, however, and I put it through, so it's a laser that works, but if I put it through the red jello, it doesn't work at all. You don't see it go through, you don't see it come out, and that's because the red jello eats every single color but red. So it loves green. It thinks it's the most delicious laser color alive, and it will gobble it up. And so green is absorbed by the red jello, whereas red is not. It thinks red's a disgusting laser color, and so it lets it kind of go through, and you can see that as it goes through. If you have the time and you want to do different colors, you can make different colors of gelatin. And so for blue gelatin, a red laser won't go through it, but a blue or a blue greenish laser will. And the same thing for green gelatin. A green laser will go through it, a red laser won't. And so then you can sort of match. If she has a red laser, she's going to want to use red jello because the red jello lets that red laser go through. She has a green laser, she wants to use green jello, and a blue laser, she's going to want to use blue jello. And then you can sort of play with these guys here and see if can you sort of steer your laser beam to get up to the Asteroid of Doom. And of course the best part is you can eat this jello at the very end, and it's kind of a fun little thing. You get to make the jello on a nice hot summer afternoon like today. It's perfect because you have a great cold treat afterwards. Hopefully you guys enjoy the first two pieces of this Asteroid of Doom trilogy. Next time we will be becoming sky watchers. We're going to build some telescopes and look at the night sky and track some meteor showers, because after we've blown up this Asteroid of Doom, we're going to have thousands of scattered pieces of this asteroid in our atmosphere for us to track. Thanks so much. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.